account, but you can have a Q&A going, so you have moderators, so people can still interact. They can tweet questions, they can add questions. So, and did anybody participate in EDU on Air? Google EDU on Air, which was sort of the same thing. They were all hangouts, they were all recorded, which is, of course, free PD online. Everything is there, and it was a global thing. We had people across the world participating. So this does extend far beyond having to meet face to face. Although, you know, what we're doing right here, it's pretty hard to replicate online. But I just wanted to make sure everybody knew about global too, to help spread the word about that one.
And that would be great for pre-service teachers too. If you could, at the same time, get on a chat with your class before, and then talk about, hey, this is what's going to happen this summer. Let's all
get back to the modeling.
It's modeling. And speaking of modeling, I just mentioned the coolest thing happened at EdCamp Oklahoma City. 2 undergrads came because they heard about it. I had talked about it, and they thought, okay, let's go see what this is like. They went to it and were so jazzed. They came back and they said, we want to start one here at the university. So this will be the 2nd year, and it was just those 2 kids and me who got it going last year. And I bought breakfast. Cool, I can do that. But they've taken it over, and they're now turning that over to the College of Ed Student Council, and the College of Ed Student Council is now taking it over, and they're setting a media person. There's all these different roles, and they're going to start pushing. So I think it grows like that. It's, you know, it grows like EdCamp. It's organic. It's, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Well, I've got to go to this because I have to. But well, I'll be there too. Okay, well, it'll be fine if you're there and I'm there and everything.
With EdCamp Global, though, you have all these people coming from all different countries that could run sessions. A little bit like with Connected Educator Month. Somebody had said yesterday how many different countries are represented at EdCamp Global. Casey, do you know any more about that?
I'm on the website right now. I don't remember.
That is really overwhelming, though. Just doing like the EdCamp Home, that should not be someone's first experience.
That's a good point.
Yeah, probably so.
It's a good point.
A chat is hard enough if it's moving fast. I was doing this because I was one of the passive watchers. I wasn't one of the 10 in the room. So I was trying to follow the hashtag, the Q&A, hearing this stuff, and I was like, okay,
and someone who's
I'm used to this.
That before.
I made it through 2 sessions, and then I was like, I'm burned out. I'm done. But I came away with great ideas. It's just, if you're trying to get someone to buy in, you need to start like manageable little pieces. I know that someone was trying to watch, was it Ed Tech Chat, and that one moves so fast, and it was their first, and they were just like, I can't do these. I'm like, well, there's a specialized one for like your state, your content area. Sometimes it's a little bit easier, and then you don't shut down, and because they were like, I feel dumb. Like, you're not. You're just not moving at the pace.
Or you just lurk.
You're trying to read everything. Don't try to read everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I always start teachers with just a search, just a hashtag search. Like, you know, forget the account for now. Just start with the search, and not necessarily with the chats, but just to find and give them, you know, is it Richard Burns' list of all the educational hashtags? Because there is something in there for everyone. And as soon as they just start sort of seeing, oh, that's what applies to me, that's what applies to me, oh, okay, you know, the light bulb goes off for them. So, because it can be, in the chats, especially some of the bigger ones, can be completely overwhelming.
And give them Jerry. Jerry Burton's website.
I wanted to share, if you're not familiar with it, the Ed Cafe approach. I went to EdCampUSA and saw Katrina Kennett and her high school students host a session on Ed Cafes. And so if you need to find the site is, what is an Ed Cafe? I think it's a WordPress site. I couldn't believe the engagement of all these high school students. It's basically the EdCamp model in a classroom. So what I've tried to do, both at the undergrad and the grad level, is to host some Ed Cafes for discussions. And then that gets them into, you know, the idea of that blank wall, you know, adding to the schedule, having choice, having voice. And then when they have a chance to try that Ed Cafe, they're not as intimidated when they get to go to their first Ed Camp, and they're not overwhelmed. So it's probably, I have to say, if I had to pick one thing that has been a game changer in teacher prep for me, it's been Ed Cafes.
Nice.
And with that same idea, we try to use back channels. So we do chats, and I mean it's a weird dynamic. If my administrators came in, everybody's just quiet. They're on their phone. I'm sure they would go, "What the heck?" But but they're actually doing a chat in in a classroom with each other. We do try to sometimes invite outside folks in as well to add a perspective.